We've been using premium kiln-dried wood for quite some time now, and we wanted to see just how different that was from using a supermarket purchased firewood.
So we drove out to our 5 main supermarkets near us, Tesco, Sainsbury's, ALDI, Lidl and Morrisons, to see what was available and what they had in comparison to Lekto. We wanted to compare the price point, we wanted to compare the packaging and how eco-friendly or non-eco-friendly it was, and also then bring it home and burn it and see what was it like to use it.
We also had a look to see whether they had Kindling and Firelighters, so we can have a full comparison of all of their burning products. I think the thing that surprised me the most was that it didn't matter whether we went to Tesco's, Aldi, Lidl, they only had one bag of the kiln-dried logs. They only had one option of kindling.
If they had that.
Yeah. And the Firelighters were very disappointing, very tough to find. I didn't even see any of the chemical ones. There was only Tesco. Yeah, it was only Tesco that actually sold the natural Firelighters.
It might have been the time of year, because we are in February. So true. Maybe it's just the time of year. I'm sure if you kind of go back and into barbecue season, obviously you have all the barbecue stuff.
And the selection, one bag of kiln-dried logs, I think they were about 4.5 kgs each bag. Again, I would have expected maybe a smaller bag, a bigger bag, just to have more variety.
And 4.5 kg bag doesn't really go anywhere.
No.
It is literally kind of one night of burning wood. It wasn't being sold for people that actually have wood burning stoves that want to use their wood burning stoves regularly.
These logs actually felt a little bit lighter, even though they were labeled hardwood. We were getting about a half an hour burn on each log. So as you said, if you were to go through a whole bag, you could easily get through that in about 3 or 4 hours, and then it's gone.
Nearly every single household around us has wood burning stoves. In fact, there's some houses around us that rely on their central heating because it's connected to their wood burning stove. So they are burning their wood burning stoves all the time.
That's just not practical. In terms of price points, Lidl and Aldi, as you'd expect, were the cheapest. Like I said, all the bags were pretty much the same weight.
Yeah.
Morrisons was the most expensive. I think the Morrisons bag was about £8 versus £5 and £5.50 at Aldi and Lidl respectively. So, in terms of price points, there is quite a bit of difference between going to a discount supermarket like an Aldi or Lidl versus going to Morrisons or Tesco.
Price point I thought was false sense of economy though, because even though it was under £10, so maybe you kind of think, well, that's not too much. It's just, I just knew how quickly, like a 4.5 kg, I just knew how quickly it was going to burn through.
Maybe if you're having a dinner party and you just want to have the fire on in the background, that's probably a bit more cost effective because that one bag, you've got it going through the evening. I think you'll probably get away with that. In terms of the quality of the kindlings, I didn't have too many issues.
I think I disagree a little bit. I found that actually it was very inconsistent. So I felt that a lot of the pieces that I were pulling out were actually 2 or 3 times the size of kindling should be. So they haven't been split correctly. So the quality control was really kind of hit and miss. And I actually felt that they were actually too dry. So, I felt like it was almost like matchstick dry. So, you put it had the kindling just felt like nothing. I wasn't too impressed with the kindling.
As far as the Firelighters were concerned, they were a complete disaster. The only supermarket that was actually selling them was Tesco's. They had 2 varieties. The first ones were the kind of cube ones, the green cube ones. They were dipped, I think, in like a vegetable fat or something. They took ages to get going. They did start the fire, to be fair. But they were not hugely, when you actually struck the match and put them to them, it took a while for that fire to get going.
I just felt like when I had to use so many of them. I think I was using 6, 7 of these things.
Yeah, you get through a quarter of that thing and easily, yeah.
I would not buy those again. I thought they were really, really average.
And I was quite pleasantly surprised to see that Tesco were doing the little nests.
Yeah, we like the nests.
We like the nests a lot. So I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. Until we brought them home and opened the bag and just realized what you're paying for a supermarket product versus a premium product from the same nests that Lekto produce.
Yeah, and the Lekto Firelighters are still absolutely
my favorite.
Top drawer, the best Firelighters we've ever used. They're consistent. You open the box, they are tidy, clean, no smell, and they're actually compacted and actually rolled in approximately the same size and same style, every single one. this bag that we got from Tesco's, number one, it's in a plastic bag. Then I opened it and I kind of felt like they were a little bit damp, like almost like they'd sweated in the plastic, which is why I think that they were fizzing. They started to fizz a lot.
Oh, yeah.
The inconsistency was wild. The only positive thing that I would say about those is that they did actually light, even though they did fizz, they did light. I wouldn't buy them for anybody, and I wouldn't recommend anybody buy them.
No way. So it was very quick and easy for us to establish why you have a premium producer of wood like a Lekto versus the kind of wood that you're buying from a supermarket. You kind of do expect that because you are paying a lower price point to go to the supermarket to get your wood versus, getting a premium product from a provider like Lekto. But there is a bit of a false economy on the supermarket stuff because there is inconsistency to the products. They don't burn as well. They burn faster. There's no control over the moisture. And the one thing that I was surprised about, maybe I shouldn't have been surprised about, but a lot of these supermarkets keep their wood outside. These plastic bags are not sealed 100%, so there will be moisture ingress in there. We've had an incredibly wet winter, so you can start to understand why the moisture might get in, and that would affect the burning.
With the logs, when we went to buy those, and when you open the bag, they seemed very small, and I was just so surprised. They were just so light, and I was pulling out logs that some of them had obviously had a lot of woodworm. So there were just holes, bore holes everywhere, all over the wood. And that meant there was just no density to the wood. I mean, you could just knock it and it just sounded completely hollow, which is why when you're buying a hardwood from like Lekto, you're buying, your oak or, your birch or anything that's a hard log wood, it's going to burn slower and it's going to give you that warmth and that consistent warmth and that consistent kind of burning time. So I just found the quality just really poor across the board. I mean, I don't think any of them were good. They were all pretty rubbish, honestly. I really just wouldn't bother. I just felt like it was all a bit of a sham, really.
And we touched on it earlier in terms of going to the supermarket and loading up your whole car with actual wood. It's very impractical. It's difficult to do. I think that's one of the biggest advantages that you have of using a company like Lekto to deliver your wood to you, is that you can order as much as you want. So if you want a pallet, they'll deliver a pallet. You can get bigger volumes. They get delivered to your door. It's just a matter of then bringing them inside or putting them in your garage and storing them somewhere. The convenience factor of that for larger orders is a lot better. One
supermarket for the logs, one supermarket for the Firelighters, one supermarket for the Kindle. I mean, for goodness sake, it's like you're driving around all day just to try and build your fire. The one thing that I found the most shocking and the most disturbing and the thing that I really, really just could not get over, the amount of plastic that was there was absolutely horrifying. And I just thought, this is just so wrong and really should be outlawed immediately. I didn't feel good buying it for this video, but I can assure you that is the first and last time we will ever be buying anything like that, because we do not want to support that.
So when you compare that to the experience of getting a Lekto delivery, all of your hardwoods come in a cardboard box. That cardboard box you can either recycle if you want. It can go in the compost heap if you'd prefer. And that applies to the Kindling, it applies to their Firelighters, it applies to all of the products that we receive.
I think that Lekto really just are absolutely the gold standard. They are leading the way. They are just so good in their packaging and being really conscious of how they package their products. They're making sure they're sourcing it ethically and that they're replanting and that timber is a sustainable method. And then they're making sure that they're packaging that timber into something and that wood is coming to you in an environmentally friendly way, in a low impact way. I love the fact that when we get a Lekto delivery, we can take out the timber, use the wood, use the kiln dried logs and the fire, and then we take that box, we can just flat pack it and it goes straight onto the compost heap because it doesn't have any laminate, any glossy stuff on it, any horrible sellotape on it. And I really appreciate that, and I really applaud Lekto for doing that. And the fact that Lekto offer you free delivery as well. I mean, why would you even get in your car, waste your petrol, drive around trying to find all these different products when you could just get them from one source, have the convenience of it being delivered directly to your home, nicely packaged. Honestly, I think that Lekto offers such a great service, and it was just really, really actually very satisfying to be able to go out and test these other products and think, wow, actually I'm really proud that we work with Lekto, because they really are doing a fantastic job, and you know, well done Lekto.
So if you're looking for a provider of premium kiln-dried woods, briquettes, firelighters, kindling, we definitely recommend that you check out Lekto, because their products are fantastic, as you've said. They're worth the money, they're top quality, and they're definitely worth checking out.
If you need logs, kindling, or firelighters, definitely check Lekto out. They offer everything that you'll need to create a nice fire, and also in an environmentally low impact way, a sustainable way. And I think that they're just, customer service is great, free delivery is great, and just can't recommend them enough.